Well, hello folks, and welcome to another episode of Without Excuse. I'm your host, Paul Wallerzak, and as always, I'm thankful that you've tuned in for another one of our outdoor biblical devotionals. So without any further delay, let's get started in our hunt for truth today. And the topic for our discussion is patience is a virtue. This past whitetail season, my son Will accomplished something that he had been looking forward to doing for a very long time. Back on November the 2nd, right here in southern Indiana, my son Will harvested his very first deer with a compound bow. It was a memorable moment. So right now, I would like to take you back to November the 2nd of this past year, invite you to climb up into the stand with Will and I as you watch Will put into practice what we will be discussing today, the fact that patience is a virtue.
Yes, he's down. That is a good shot. I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
Well, friend, as you can tell, that was a magical moment for Will and I as he put into practice the attitude of patience. We had almost 10 minutes worth of video footage of that buck from the very first time he popped out of the wood line until he finally came by the stand and presented Will with an ethical shot. Will's attitude of patience and his composure throughout the hunt yielded a moment that will stay in his memory for a lifetime. Since that memorable moment on stand that night, I've had a lot of time this past year to think about the attitude of patience and the tangible rewards that come into our life when we practice patience. Recently, I was reading in the book of James, and there's a couple verses of scripture that have really stood out to me over the past couple months in reference to the topic of patience. James chapter 1 verses 2 through 4 says the following: My brethren, count it all a joy when you fall into various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. But let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing. Well, friend, I can assure you that there was a whole lot said in just those few verses. But the thing that I want you to gain today from the passage that I read to you is this big point. James was trying to tell us that when we practice godly patience, when God calls us to just wait and to be patient, there is literally nothing that we lack. Just think about it. I can think about times when I know God has been telling me to wait, to be patient, but I've pressed on and went ahead and done what I wanted to do anyways. I can assure you when I've done that, things have not turned out very well. But in my mind, I thought maybe I was missing out on something. James wants us to realize that if we will practice godly patience, the scripture said that literally we will be complete and that we will lack nothing. Now that is a great promise that we can cling on to. As we wrap things up today, I simply want to encourage you to practice patience, not just in the whitetail woods or while you're on the hunt, but practice patience in the most important areas of your life. And I can assure you, if you will, based on God's Word, you will be a person who lacks nothing. If you have any questions or comments in reference to the teaching that you heard today, or your church or outdoor organization needs a keynote speaker for an upcoming wild game dinner or outdoor banquet, I want to invite you to email me at paul@withoutexcuseministries.com. And I look forward to seeing you again real soon on another episode of Without Excuse. And until then, remember, be safe, shoot straight, and enjoy your time in God's great outdoors.